Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda and I love crafting, shopping, decor and makeovers. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to do a little focused dollhouse video on bedroom furniture today, most noticeably the bed. That's the biggest piece of furniture that you have in the bedroom. I do the occasional wardrobe or unit like this one here, which I made mostly out of poster board, which is a great tool if you have a dollhouse, because you can cut it up and it looks like, you know, flat pack furniture. But I went quite grand with my first bed, as you can see here by the inbuilt lights that I put in the headboard. So my first bed was probably a little bit over the top, but I do adapt it and change. That's the great thing with dollhouse furniture. You can make a piece and then you can change it. So here is a closer look at the first bed that I made for my dollhouse. So as I said, it got quite elaborate with the headboard. It was a piece of card, and then I cut some material and did separate panel pieces, and then I even used some poster board to make little bedside tables. As you can see the back there, I've fed some lights. I just bought a pack of lights for £1, a cheap little battery pack, and then made little holes, fed them through. And then what was pretty cool is I used 2 of them to light up the bedside lights. That's why they're all sort of attached together. So I was quite pleased with myself with that. It went quite well, and it made a nice backdrop for the bed. And then the base of the bed was again just a piece of cardboard, and then I covered it with material. I think it was a pillowcase that I covered it with, and then I think I just got some, I don't know whether it's polystyrene or sponge or something, and then again covered that, and then just made some pillows, which are made really easily just by folding materials, stuffing them, and then gluing it all together. No sewing required. And then I think for the first bed, I think I used a flannel for the duvet cover, a bit of toweling for the throw, but I did then change it. That's a little closer look at that unit that I used the poster board for. So as I said, I used the poster board for the bedside tables and that unit, and I think I've made a couple of wardrobes with poster board as well. So it's quite a handy little tool. It's easily cut, and it does look a little bit like the flat pack furniture that you might buy. And then I glued all the accessories onto that, which is quite a good idea for a dollhouse, because then if you move it about, nothing's going to fall out or over. So it was quite a nice piece of furniture. I was really pleased with that. So that was my first bedroom and the first bed. And then here, just showing that you can tweak and adjust the bed for different seasons. I put some Christmas material and made some Christmas cushions and just made the bed look festive. Then I made it look summery here, so I had some pom-pom cushions and changed the bedding again, just wrapped some other material around that sort of foam base that I had. So once you have made the bed, you can tweak it, change it by changing the cushions or changing the duvet cover, just like you would with your normal bed, really. But I did keep the bedside table and the backdrop for a while, but then I did eventually decide that the headboard was a little bit imposing, and it was time to make a little change. So this was a guest bedroom, so I had to make a new bed, because I decided to make a new bedroom. And I went a little bit simpler with the guest bedroom one. I used this cute little bunny here. It's actually a tape measure, but I thought he made a nice little pillow that you could put on the bed. So I thought that was a bit of an extra touch. And I got that lovely material, which I think was a jumper of mine. I'm a big fan of using old jumpers as well as pillowcases and stuff. That was a cushion. And again, it was just some fabric, I think, that I covered, something soft, something a sponge, I think I covered with that material, and some pom-poms. And then the headboard I just made with some cardboard and just folded it over. And then I don't even think that I attached it to the bed. So I kept it really simple. And I just covered the base with a different material. The base may have just been layers of cardboard on top of each other. Just cut to size, layer it all together, and then cover it with material. Super simple. I did a dollhouse kit, which actually gave me inspiration for my new dollhouse bed. So here's a little clip of me making the kit bed. The bedroom is, of course, the bed. So it's another little flat pack affair. Again, it's pieces. So there's a headboard, which is a nice idea, piece of wood, wrap the felt round it, and then just gluing the leather pieces on the sides and bending them round, and then putting a larger leather piece over the top. So that's a really nice idea, and I think I might do that because I haven't actually got a headboard for my bed in my new dollhouse, so I may make a headboard, and it looks fairly simple but nice and effective, so I might give that a try. And then the bed, again, a bit similar to the chair and the settee. There's lots of material pieces to go. It's not quite as fiddly because there's slightly larger pieces. So put the felt on the base and then glue the headboard on, and then that will lock the bed into place. And then there's a lovely piece of sort of meshy material to go on, and that will give the bed its shape. So just glue that down, and then to give the bed a bit of shape, a little bit of the stuffing, and then the bed sheet glued on top of that, so then it all fits together and the stuffing's inside, and it makes it look like a bed with a duvet. And then just a finishing touch there of a lovely piece of lace, and I think that bed looks beautiful. And then, of course, some pillows, really simple to make, a rectangle of material, glue two of the sides together, leaving one side open, stuff in your fluff, or whatever you've got really that could go inside to make it fluffy, and then glue the final side, and you've got your lovely pillows. So what a beautiful bed, very pleased with that. I put into practice what I'd learnt from the Dollhouse kit and created my new bed for the Dollhouse. So I used some poster board and some stuffing and material to cover. So just as I had learnt from the Dollhouse one, I put the leather on the edges and then covered the headboard with some faux leather that I had from an old skirt, stuffed it with some of that, was an old jumper, and then I had a nice little padded headboard, so that's a really good idea. And then again, just used something for the base, covered it with old pillow cushion cover, I think that was, and then more of that jumper for the duvet, but I glued it on just like in the kit rather than leaving it to go on and off. And then I trimmed it with a lovely lace trim as well. So as I said, I definitely took inspiration from the kit. And then if I ever do need to customise the bedspread, I can actually put something over it, but it's always got that bedspread on nice in place. And then I made some coordinating cushions from, again, a sort of old little dress, I think it was, corduroy. And that already had the trim on it, which I thought looked really nice and matched with the top of the trim of the bed. So there is the current bed that I have in the new Dollhouse, and again, different seasons you can dress it up with different cushions, but I basically keep the structure of it the same. You could put a little tray on the bed, and you could probably add a throw. I just added those little fluffy cushions for the winter, and then take those ones away and put some different ones in. I've got this nice big one, spotty cushion for the summer, and then again, as I said, I can put a cover over that there. So I've just got again, I think that's an old cushion cover, and I've just wrapped it around the bed to make a nice sort of spring summer bedding. So it's really easy once you've made your bed to change it up and make it look a little bit different. So I hope you found that useful if you're thinking of making any beds for your dollhouse. It is really easy. Give it a try, and don't forget to come back to Amanda Crafted to see what other furniture I'm going to be sharing with you next. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please consider doing so. Give me a like, drop me a comment, because I do love to hear from you. So, until next week, take care. Bye-bye.